into the question box. Let me know that you can hear me okay and that you can also see my screen.
I actually need to hide the poll there. My bad. Where is?
Well,
Let me find the poll.
good. So,
yeah, I'm trying to find the poll panel here though, so you can actually get started. Made the mistake of not hiding that. Now we see your screen there, Brad. You're good.
excellent, excellent. Welcome everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday QA session. It's a great opportunity to take you guys on a tour of trade ideas, some of the newer features and functions, show you how we can help you trading, really show you what Trade Ideas does best. We've been doing this for about 13 years, and our core focus is really finding ideas, finding opportunities in the market, and really beating the market. Even on down days like today, even when the market's really difficult and really challenging, our goal is to help you find these opportunities and be able to profit from them. So welcome. The way this is going to work today, I'm going to spend about the first 15 minutes going over the product, the general overview of the tool, since there are a good number of people that are not subscribers. I want to show you the core functionality and how it can help you. Then I'm going to take the next 15 minutes or so, and I'm going to really dive into our artificial intelligence channel, Holly, if you will, and really talk about the strategy selection, how she chooses these strategies on a daily basis, what she really does. I'm going to really kind of roll our sleeves up and dig in, and we'll have a good idea about all the work that she's doing overnight while we're sleeping in an effort to really find the best trading opportunities for the following day. So we'll do that. And as Scott mentioned early on, we'll be taking your questions throughout, but if you'd like me to take a particular question or talk about it either via my screen share or just take it in general, wait until the last half of the presentation and I'll take those questions then and do my best to get through that. So welcome. Let me first get some housekeeping out of the way. Trade Ideas is a premier software technology provider. We are not an investment advisory firm. So with that in mind, please know that the symbols that I talk about today should not be construed as investment advice, just rather education. I'm going to show you how to get the most out of Trade Ideas. But also, what I want to do, because there are some new users here, I want to make sure that everybody also understands really the onboarding process. What happens if you were to become a subscriber of Trade Ideas? The level of personalized support that you get is really unsurpassed, and anybody that signs up for Trade Ideas, they're entitled and they get a one-on-one training session with our Director of Education. We do a screen share. We make sure that you're set up, the windows are set up the way that you like it, you're getting the type of data and the workflow that you're looking for, and then we have continual support thereafter. So please know that. I'm not even going to talk really about this screen here until a little bit later in my demonstration, so I'm just going to really kind of move this aside and really just kind of pull up the software, make sure that everybody understands what we do. You know, for 13 years we've been trying to spot these interesting events in the marketplace, but it's really what we do on the server side that makes it incredibly powerful. So please know that what we're doing behind the scenes is really the incredible number crunching that's taking place. What we do is we take in this market data into our server farm and we crunch it, and we take a look at statistical baselines for every single stock on every single time frame. And we maintain that baseline so that we know when something happens that's unusual, we can deliver that actionable information right to you. I want to go ahead and start off with our channels, and this is our AI channel. I'll get back to it, but I just want to start off with, let's say, our pre-market channel, because we provide a channel bar for a new user experience, even for people that are advanced. But the channel bar is like a remote control to the market, if you will. It allows you to, toggle between different views of the market, whether it's looking at a particular sector or looking at certain market activity. We've broken it down into these various segments. And what we're looking at right here is we're looking at our pre-market channel, which has a variety of the different Trade Ideas windows all put together for you from the professionals at Trade Ideas. So each one of these different channels, or themes if you will, are just a collection of different windows that are already pre-configured and set up so that you don't have to do it. But please know that everything in the software is configurable. So if you want to go ahead and look at up gappers that are only stocks up to $10 or some type of special filtering, you can do that, and you can customize any of these windows for yourself, and you can save them to your own cloud for future retrieval. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at things that would be happening in the pre-market that may want to draw our attention. Stocks that are gapping up, gapping down, and then this bottom window is a streaming window that's giving me ideas of market movement, things that are happening with respect to movement and volume activity in the pre-market. But after the market starts, you may want to look at a different view of the market. And trade ideas, while we're looking at regular market data, we're also looking at, which we call structured data, we're also looking at unstructured data, and an example of that would be what we call, which is StockTwits data. It's social data, mentions in a Twitter sphere, if you will. Stocks that are being talked about in social media, we have that as a data point, and we create that statistical baseline for social mentions, again, giving us the ability to see at any given time how much is a stock being talked about compared to its normal activity. And in each one of these windows that I'm showing you right here, I've got this column called StockTwits relative activity, and it lets me know on a percentage basis how much is this stock being talked about. The window in the bottom right corner is giving me all the stocks that are being talked about much more than normal, giving me a list of ideas that I can toggle through, and I can take a look at and see how are these social mentions affecting the stock, and is this something that perhaps I may want to put on my radar for a later time or even for later in the day. And you can just cycle through. Included in trade ideas, included in the base product of trade ideas, is the charting as well. This is a new feature that we added last year to the service, to the platform, if you will. So you can have charting on any different time frame, accessible all through a right-click menu. And so all of these windows have a right-click menu that allows you to customize the configuration or the view that you're looking at. Another one of my favorite channels would be the surge channel. This is one that I look at during the first half hour of the market. I mean, I toggle back to it all throughout the day, but during the first half hour of the market, this is giving me really great ideas that are looking for a combination of price and volume action. So, you know, things that are moving on strong volume, those are the type of ideas that I'm looking for and the type of trades that I like to take. And this is the type of channel that's delivering this constant stream of information. And, you know, whether the market's up or down, there are always stocks that are in play. There are always stocks that are moving up. There are always stocks that are moving down. And that's what we're looking to do here. We're looking to find those opportunities. Something that I'm going to kind of point to, a little mini feature in the software that many may not be aware of, or if they see it, they may not know exactly what it does. But I've got this window in the bottom right-hand corner. It's a top list window. It's a ranked list of stocks, letting me know, or giving me a list of stocks where the range for the day, the distance between its low and the high, that range for the day is much bigger than normal. And I can see here that this is the column that's telling me the size of that range, 4 times normal, 5 times normal, almost 10 times normal. That's giving me the size of the range. It's also giving me some volume data, but the thing that's really standing out here is this bar down at the bottom. And this bar down at the bottom is letting me know that of all the stocks that are in this window right here, this list of stocks with a very large range, 92% of them are down for the day and 8% of them are up for the day. And you can always sort these windows, manipulate these windows to bring you the different values. If I want to look at the highest price stocks in here or stocks with the biggest volume, relative volume for the day, I can do that and just manipulate these different windows. So we're presenting you different views and different themes, but you can then go into those themes and manipulate the data to really highlight the type of data that you're looking for. One window I'm going to highlight right here, this is our compare count. It's a visualization window. It's a really interesting window because what it's doing is it's looking for really market breadth. What's happening right now? Not is the market up or down, but are the stocks right now making highs and lows? Are they moving up or are they moving down? And it's giving me that type of visual reference, that graphical reference, if you will, as to the market activity. A couple of the other channels that we have here, options channel, looking at not only do we look at regular price data for the equities, but we're also looking at various options data points. And the one in particular that stands out for me on this options channel is our options volume today filter or column. any filter that we have available in the software can be added as a column, so you can see that data and also manipulate it. So now we're looking here at a list of stocks that have much higher than normal options volume today. Again, it's kind of a common theme within trade ideas, looking at that baseline, looking what's normal, whether it's volume, how much a stock moves over the course of 5 minutes or 15 minutes or a day. All of that stuff is very, very relevant. And when you take that statistical baseline, you have the ability to model alerts and other events off of that. So I'll just cycle down through some of the other channels here so you can see what we offer. Another good one is this price movement up and price movement down. So on a day here where the market's really beaten up and taken quite a hit, you can still go into the price up movers here and see the stocks were actually winning today, doing well, and bucking the trend against the market. And then similarly, you can see exactly what really took it today and didn't do so well.
Brad, will you do me a favor and please make sure to mention the very last channel, which is probably one of the most important ones?
You bet, and that's kind of where I'm heading right now. So as you get all the way to the bottom here, we have access to our live trading room, and this is kind of lends to the initial part that I was talking about, that new user onboarding. This is our live trading room. It's moderated by a gentleman, Barry Einerson, who I'm really excited. We're having our annual meeting here this week at Trade Ideas. Each year we get together during a week and we do some long-term planning. We're always doing short-term planning and managing our development team, but we do some real long-term planning and goal setting. And this is an opportunity that we get to finally press the flesh with Barry, whom we've only had an opportunity to talk on the phone. But this is a great chance. We get to meet him, and our whole team comes together and for some really great collective thinking. But I encourage you all to go into our chat room. It's actually going to be a little bit light this week because Barry is not going to be moderating it until the start of next week. But please know that it's there, and it's a collection of very avid professionals that are exchanging ideas and utilizing Trade Ideas technology all the way. And we're sharing screens, so if you happen to have a Trade Ideas related question, we're perfectly suited right there to be able to answer that. So I showed you here, I kind of just took you on a tour of the channel bar, which really incorporates 4 of our different visualization windows that we have. But there's a lot more to Trade Ideas as well, and I'll get into that. One of the things I want to make sure that everybody knows is that we also do have an integration with Lightspeed Trading. It allows you to automate your trades. So if you have a strategy in Trade Ideas that you want to have automated, you can take it all the way to the level of having these trades automated. Other functionality that we have, this here I'm showing you our application. This is also available in a very robust web version of the software, which you can get to right from our website. You just want to go to our home page, and in the upper right hand corner it'll say launch the browser version. Anything that you've saved from the cloud, that's just really another great piece of functionality. Anything that you've saved to the cloud, either in the application or the web, can be completely shared back and forth with each other. So whatever you have in the cloud for your application is the same cloud that you would retain for the web version. 90% of the functionality is there in the web version. What's not there is some of the higher level functionality that's inside of Trade Ideas Pro that we offer to subscribers of the AI channel. And subscribers of the AI, they're also entitled to our backtesting. That's our odds maker, which is our event-based backtesting tool, which allows you to create a strategy, optimize it, and see exactly how that strategy would perform in the marketplace. And it's really the core functionality that we have that allows Holly, our AI engine, to operate. And that's kind of where I'll go next and talk a little bit about our AI engine. And this is our AI channel. So for those of you that have subscribed to the odds maker or to the AI, have access to this bit of information that it's quite revolutionary. So my goal here is to try to describe to you exactly what's going on with respect to it, and how are these strategies chosen every day to deliver the results that we see. And it's a nice trading day. Here we had a market that was really down, but if I go ahead and just show the strategies that traded today, I'll just select the active strategies. There were 5 different strategies that traded, 3 long strategies and 2 short strategies, and overall, in sum total, it did make money, so it was very, very good But if you look at it, you can see that these two long strategies, they were losers. The market was obviously down, but we were able to pull a winner out of this support is that U strategy. And I'll get more specific about what some of these strategies are, and also, like I said, some of the guts behind it. These are the trades that triggered today, and there weren't that many. If I stretch this out, we can see that there were just a handful, maybe 10 trades that triggered, and it started at 12 minutes after the market opened. I'm on the West Coast time, and its first opportunity was WRK. It happened to be a losing trade, but because Holly is not emotional in the market, she sits there, she has all the odds at her favor, and she's just not afraid to go to the next opportunity. So this was a great opportunity to show these trades and these strategies. They all have risk that are already built into it, risk management, if you will. And in this particular case, this strategy, Sunrise Mover, is going to ensure that there's not going to be any trade that's triggered that's going to be greater than a 50-cent loser. So that is your stop. That's the opportunity cost to participate in this particular strategy. And then a few minutes later, AIZ triggered, and this was another long opportunity. It triggered on this candle. You can see by the arrow annotation, and it triggered at 78.60, and we made almost 26 cents on the trade. We got out of this particular trade because the time stop. A Sunrise Mover is a 30-minute strategy. The idea is to look. Yes.
I mean, as you were going over this, it dawned on me. Maybe we can share a little bit more about the timed exits.
You broke up there. The time what?
The timed exits. Like why are they there?
So,
and also, wait, and one more thing, if we can tie that in, show all the strategies real quick, and maybe you can tell me or our audience, how come only these active ones traded? I thought, we have this huge selection process, that combine. There were so many strategies. How come?
Okay, well, you cannot steal my thunder. I'm going to get to that part. But let's talk about the timed exit. Every strategy has some risk management in it, and it also has, if you're familiar with the odds maker, and I will show that in a little bit, has a timed exit. So every strategy is set to get out of a position after a certain number of minutes unless other criteria happen. A strategy could have a profit target, and it could definitely have a protective stop. So those are the three different ways that you could be exiting a position. And so if you see this far right column, these are the trades for the day, but these are the reasons why we got out of those trades. So an interesting one, which one is it? I think it's INGR. So if I go into INGR, this was a trade. This is a resistance is at U. That's a 60-minute trade. We put on the short position right here, and we got out of it, right around here, because that was the 60 minutes. But the market, I mean, if you were watching the market at that time, okay, maybe I'll cover some of that position, but because the market's still going down, it really did provide a great longer-term opportunity, even one that may be worthy of holding the next day. So while we're providing these suggestions and these recommendations, they don't have to be necessarily adhered to. You can utilize your trading savvy and your skill, and that's another reason why we provide not just a spider chart here, but also compare accounts, so you can see exactly what's happening. Is the market weak, or is it starting to bounce? And all of that little bit of information can also be used to help make a little bit more money in the process. So Dan was talking about these are just the strategies that triggered. But if you see, if I go ahead and uncheck active, maybe stretch this out just a little, you can see these were all the different strategies that could have possibly triggered today. But not all of them did, and there's a good reason why that's the case, because each strategy could have some very specific market filters on there that say, I'm not going to put on a long position and hold it to the market close if in fact the market's been down a certain percentage or certain number of pennies over the course of X number of minutes, whether it's 15 minutes from the beginning of the day, from the open. Those are all the different variables that we play with when defining which strategies will possibly trigger or not. And we're not in control of that. That's really up to Holly and the and the different filters that she decides to put in play. So that's actually a good time for me to kind of bring back this little window right here. And this is a window that illustrates the different strategies, and this is just probably, this is about half of them, the different possible strategies that could be populating inside of your AI window in the morning. And effectively what it's doing is it's looking at all of these strategies, and then it's going through and adding filters, maybe taking filters off, changing some values based upon today's data. And so it does that every day. And it comes up, you know, fib wave 79 may be similar tomorrow. It may be exact, it may not. It's going to have similar characteristics, but there could be additional filters that allow it to perform and to be optimized just a little bit better. So at the end of the night, after the trading day, it goes through and it does this to all these strategies, and then we go through and, or it goes through and it looks at all these strategies and ranks them. And it looks to the profit factor, it looks to the win percentage, but it does it all on what we call out-of-sample data. It's data that wasn't used in the optimization process. So it's like fresh data that it's looking at, and we take the best results of that to provide you the different strategies the next day. And just because
Brad,
the strategies may be there doesn't mean they'll trigger. Yes, Dan?
I was going to suggest that if anybody wants, just Google Monte Carlo simulation, and that kind of gives everybody a very good high-level idea of what's going on to make sure the data is as valid as it can be.
So on that sheet that I was demonstrating, there's a link, and it's just available to us at this point. But that link allows me to load this cloud window. This window right here is effectively every one of those bases that's been optimized and potentially ready for today. Now, there are some strategies in here that didn't make the cut, that aren't visible inside of my AI window. But nevertheless, this gives me access to the different strategies, and I want to pull one of them out. Let's take this guy right here. Resistance is at you over $20. So let's find that one. That's this guy right here. And I'm going to go ahead and open the alert window. Okay, so this right here happens to be the alert window for that strategy that we're looking at right here. And if I run a history for today, you're just going to see two trades that triggered. Those are the two trades that if I was to go here and say resistance is at you and view trades for that, I'm just going to see, oh, wrong one. That's under 20. So I'm just going to see those same trades that I have in this window. But now I can see the details of what that strategy looks like. And this is the strategy, right? This is a short strategy that we're employing, and we're doing it because of statistics, and I'll show you the odds maker run for that. But it's really just looking for one trigger event. It's looking for a 30-minute opening range break and saying, wow, that's going to be the top of this particular move because there are some other filters in place that will do that. And so let me go ahead and expand this a little bit. And I don't want to confuse you guys, but just note, these are filters, some of which we put on here, some of which Holly put on here. And she put the finishing touches to this strategy. And once we have that, I'm going to go ahead and right-click on it, and I'm going to select Backtest Strategy. So this is the entry time. This strategy will not be triggered during the first 30 minutes of the trading day. It's not going to be triggered during the last hour and 15 minutes of the trading day. And then we can see here that we're going to hold it for 60 minutes. The risk management says I'm not going to lose more than 75 cents on any trade. The wiggle's not yet implemented, but that's coming. And we're going to hold it, and this is essentially the run, and now let's simulate the sell. Now what we're doing is we're going back in time and we're looking at every event that could have triggered with this strategy. This is going back over the last quarter. And this is our equity curve. So if I would have just traded this one strategy here, starting my account with 50,000, this is what my equity curve would look like. If I was trading $10,000 per transaction, that's what that would look like, with a commission of $5 and a slippage of 2 cents. And I could say, well, maybe I'm going to lose 3 cents in, 3 cents out. I could adjust that, and my equity curve would dynamically adjust. And then you could see exactly what trades would have triggered if you were watching this on Monday. And this would have been the trade, and based on $10,000, that would have been the profit or the loss. That was a profit. Then a week ago, these were all the trades.
Brad,
Yes.
there are kind of two things that I'm watching you, and they pop out at me that I think is important for people to understand. And one of them, you obviously went over, but it's the trigger. A lot of times when people get into the stock market, they immediately want this reaffirmation of what they think should happen, which is like, for example, I want to buy a stock because it's moving up, and then I want it to go up higher. And of course, in an ideal world, that might happen. But as you have explained, when we split up the market into these strategy components, we're testing all of those concepts. We're testing the idea of, well, maybe we'll buy on the breakout, but maybe it's possible to short the breakout as well. And the odds will tell us what's going to be played. And in this case, we were shorting the breakouts because the odds were in our direction.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, when you look at the different strategies that we present, and let me see if I can zing it back in here. It really does break the market up into a variety of different ways. We're buying highs, we're selling highs, we're buying lows, and we're selling lows, and those are all the different concepts of these strategies. And that's why, when it's looking back over the last quarter of data, it's determining which strategies or which concepts are best suited for this particular market. So it's really intense the way that it goes about that selection process. All right, so let's. This is probably a good point. We're about a half hour in. It's a good point to take a pause and bring Scott back in, talk a little bit about our pricing,
Yeah.
and then I'll show you a few more things when we get back.
Awesome. Yeah, I think slide 4 has the pricing schedule on it, and so as a lot of you know, we're a software as a service company with subscription as our core product. So Trade Ideas Pro and Trade Ideas is a monthly $99 subscription that includes all of your real-time data, your charting that we launched in the summertime. It's been super popular. Very importantly, it includes that free one-on-one training. It's a full hour. And you go to the support section of the website and sign up for that immediately after you register. It's the best way to do it. You also get to test out the backtesting tool. We have an annual plan that saves you a bundle. It's $888. Saves you a lot over the monthly. And to get the AI channel, Holly, it's a one-time $1,100 fee, and it shows you trades that are performing in the market now. And you also have full access to the odds maker backtesting module that lets you optimize your own strategies and test them in real conditions without programming. And you can test the entire universe of stocks if you wish. I will come back a little bit later to thank you all with subscription specials. If you have any questions about our pricing or our subscriptions or the AI or odds maker, please feel free to ask in the chat, and Steve or myself will answer that for you. I'll turn you back over to Brad now. Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. So I see a couple questions here. Let me kind of knock these out before we move on. And one from Dean's kind of standing out to me, where he's how does Holly handle optimization? Well, actually, it's from Ron. But how does Holly handle optimization versus curve fitting? It's a great question.
I posted a link, Brad, so that everybody could see in the chat to the web definition for that.
Okay, good. But if you don't want to read it, or go there, I'll just kind of give you the high level, and it's really all about the out-of-sample data that we use. Now, curve fitting, if you just have a finite set of data, certainly anything can be curve fit, but that's why we take two sets of data anytime we do our optimization run. So we have an in-sample set of data, and we have an out-of-sample set of data that never is touched in the optimization process. We do the optimization, and then we run the statistics based on the out-of-sample data. That is how we can ensure that what we're doing here is not optimized based on curve fitting. All right, let's see here. And there's another couple questions. Let me go back to the AI window and show you a little bit about the customization. I'm on version 0.4. That's not quite available to everybody, but on our website we did just recently put out version 0.38. So if you go there and download that one, that's going to have the most recent features that are available inside of the AI, and that would include, those different filtering mechanisms that we have here, where we can filter just on a particular strategy, or a type of strategy that we're looking for. If you right-click in the window, you have the ability to customize whether you're looking for the profit and loss graph, having that on there. Like I said, everything is right-click menu oriented, so it's all context sensitive depending on which window you're in and where you're clicking on the window. It's going to give you different choices. And inside of it, if you go into columns, we're just giving you a select few columns that we think are ideal, but there are a lot more data points in here if you're curious and you want to really customize it to what you're looking for.
Brad, maybe, since can you hear me? I just want to make sure I'm not talking.
Yeah, you sound fine.
You and I were working on that stuff today. A lot of people, that I've been talking to, they ask me, well, how should I use the AI? What's the different way? I have it, so what's the best way for me to use it? Let's talk a little bit about that, or rather, of course, you talk, because I think it really needs to be explained thoroughly as people kind of get confused. Is this the Tim Sykes Lamborghini machine? What is this?
Well, there's really no one way to use this technology. There are people that can utilize this technology just by watching it and seeing what's working in the market from a direction perspective. I mean, you could take it back to that basic, but following this type of technology, it can be confusing for some people. But it's giving you audible signals when a trade is occurring, letting you know that when a trade occurs, it's going to appear over here on the left-hand side, giving you the ability to just click on the symbol to pull it up and decide whether this is something that would be good for you to trade. Now, you can look at these particular strategies, and there's one that's a sunrise mover. This is a strategy that goes off early in the morning. That's not for everybody, and maybe that strategy isn't for you. You don't have to participate along with that. But we give you metrics with all of these different strategies. If you right-click in here, go to columns, I'm going to bring in some historical metrics, and the historical metrics really give you the kind of the back-testing scenario on how was that strategy, how did it perform over time. So let's do recent performance and win percentage. So I'm going to bring both of those columns in here. And so I added these data points over here. This win percentage lets you know on a historical basis how successful are these strategies. How have they been over the last quarter of data? And the recent performance is really taking our calendar heat map that we have in the odds maker by bringing it over here, and we lay it out linearly so you can see all the different days and how they performed. So you can see exactly which strategies you want to participate in even before they may trigger based upon your notion. Maybe you don't go short. Well, you don't have to watch the shorts. I'm not a big fan of one-directional trading, but it's completely up to you. And what we're doing here is we're providing, whether you take one strategy or another, regardless, we're presenting the most statistically viable strategies that we can find in the marketplace. I mean, it's not easy, and it's not a red light, green light type of scenario. And if, in fact, you find that the smart stop may be at $2 away on a particular security, you would have to make that determination whether that risk is too much for you or whether you should dial down your share quantity appropriately for that type of risk. So we're kind of presenting those data points up front, giving you the notion of looking at that, looking at what that smart stop is even before making that trade.
Brad, that makes a whole lot of sense. There's questions on the forums. Again, how do you literally exactly do something with this information? Now, can it be automated, for example? How do you follow when the AI gets in? Do you instantly get in? Do you have time to watch? How would you answer those questions?
Both. You have time to watch and you can instantly get in. I mean, it really depends. For me, it depends on what's happening in the marketplace. Is this a market that's conducive to trading? And this is always looking for statistical opportunities, but I've been in the business for a while and utilized some of my own intellect in the process. But regardless, if you were to take every opportunity here, you'd be doing far better than the S&P in the marketplace since we've turned this on. It's an alpha generating machine, so it is looking to do far better than the market on any given day.
So Brad, is it fair to say that, like, overview, and again, I'm only speaking this way because I don't want to cough all over everybody if it accidentally happens, but can we summarize and say, okay, as the trades come in, you can take them if you're comfortable. They were never designed for like 10 cents or 2 cents. This is designed to be an active investor human, to grow your account, not your brokerage's commission account. But of course, we want to give enough information so that everyone can participate, not just the people who, you know, who are there sitting in front of a computer all day long. So to me, there's like these distinct key things: follow, watch, and learn. If Holly's going short, most likely short is the path of least resistance. If Holly's going long, most likely long is the path of least resistance. There's no, you know, I keep reiterating the fact that there's just no other vendors out there that are willing to show what their computer systems are actually doing. There's a lot of yapping about what could be done had you been here yesterday, but not about what's happening right now. And that's really the key differentiator between what we do and what everyone else is doing. AI is there, it's open, it's showing you what it's doing, and you learn from it. It's the best that you can do.
So I'm looking through the questions, and I just happened to find a funny one. They wanted to know what your name was, but so there's a question here about training prices, and we do not have a fee to train you. We want to make sure that you're educated on the use of the software. We do work with a variety of different educators that utilize our technology. So if you're looking to get some additional education, just contact us. I'm not going to do it here over the webinar, but send us an email, and we'll be more than happy to shoot you out a couple of different educators that are utilizing our tech. Yeah, so, but you can, as far as understanding how to use trade ideas, we'll make sure that you're completely comfortable and you're getting the value out of the tool that you're looking for.
Brad, you're making me see something right now which is really interesting. So can you zoom in on the FFIV daily chart?
You bet.
So Brad's showing you that we have some zooming capabilities, ways you can work with the chart, but you know, I want to maybe get long this at 94.10. How do I make sure I don't miss that?
All right, well, if you want to get long this at 94.10, I'm going to right-click in the chart. I'm around that price point. I'm going to go ahead and select the Create Limit Alert. So let me preface this by saying this is not functionality that's available yet, but we anticipate by the end of next week this will be available in a beta download. So I'm going to go ahead and select Create Limit Alert at 94.19. I know you said 94.10. I'll just modify that right here. And the direction is, this is if it comes from below, if it rises to 94.10, I want to be alerted. And I'm going to leave myself a little message here. Okay, and if, you know, something like this, let me move it away from the chart. If this drops below, say, $91, I don't care about the alert. I have the ability to put that in here. Or if it doesn't make this trigger within the next 2 weeks, I could make that an expiration. I'm going to leave those both blank for right now, though. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it. And I saved it to my limit alerts. And this is where I have my archive of different alerts that are set up. And this window is being continually improved. It's one of the reasons why it's not in your hands yet. But it's having audible signals popping up, SMS, email notification, all of this type of alerting to make sure that I'm not going to miss this when the stock rises up. And I use this a lot of times. I use it to monitor the SPYs when it gets to different levels. And so you can set up a variety of different levels at any point during the day and have this continually looking for that. But a lot of different ways to use it and share it as well.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you know, most likely the hugest value add is going to be when people are able to share these and maybe show people how that can be done.
You bet. I could take, let's say, all of the alerts here. I'll sort it on just the ones that are working. I'll select the top one. I'll select this one. So now I've got the whole group of open different limit alerts, and I can share these 16 limit alerts in a cloud link, copy it, and then I could, you know, drop this to anybody, and if you were to come back and load it in your cloud, you would have my group of alerts.
that's really going to take the trading room, I think, to the next level, because people in there will then be able to really start utilizing this as a core, because you can set the expirations like the way you did very nicely, and because we have so many good eyes on various stocks, you're just going to be less and less prone to missing things with this. And everyone needs to be aware that this also is the higher end feature that goes with Holly. We invented this actually, again, if you bring up FFIV from the trading at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people, this also came from the question of how do I use the AI? And we said, well, you know, as investors, you don't have to be just blind. You can trade around some of the AI. Now, Holly went short, but on FFIV, but that does not mean that there's not an opportunity on the long side. She's bringing something to your attention. You can really bracket the parameter like we did it on the long side, but Brad, now set up a limit at 91 on the short side. You know, you can go both ways.
Yeah, you can go both ways, and so I'm clicking below the price point right here, so it knows to automatically do it from above. So if I want to make this 91 even from above, and there you have it. Okay, so I want to show a window that I built today, and I want to kind of show you what it does. And if you guys want it, I'll be more than happy to give it to you. The last QA webinar, I shared a volume movers window. Let me bring it, see if I can bring it up. Moving up on volume. That's it.
By the way, Brad, while you're doing that, there's some questions about brokerages, which brokerages to use. So maybe talk about afterwards our external linking, how we can work with any brokerages, and how to automate Holly if you really want to.
You bet, you bet. So from a linking perspective, we link with about 90% of the applications out there. You know, whether it's a real tick or a trade station. So if you click on a symbol inside of our application, the chart, the level 2, the news, and the various windows inside of the brokerage app or the analytical package will update as well. And so from that perspective, we don't really have a preference, or it doesn't really matter which broker you use to execute your trades. We do have a couple of integrations. We're integrated inside of Scottrade, inside of E-Trade. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to automate these signals, right now we have an integration that's been completed with Lightspeed Trading, but I anticipate over the next month or so, interactive brokers will be included in that offering as well. Then there's a third-party company, Stock Ticker, which has made an app that allows you to automate currently through interactive brokers as well as Sterling. So that works through that third-party tool. But yeah, it doesn't really matter which brokerage platform you're using, because you know, whether you're using our charts or them to execute through a level 2 window, you can use our external linking to make it super easy. So you just click on a symbol, it updates everything in the other platform. And I'm not sure about Sure Trades, probably yes. But you can always download the demo version of the software and give it a shot. If you're unable to do it, shoot a message to our support team, and we'll put a quick remote session together and see if we can get it working on your system. So I'll give you the 60-second elevator on with respect to what we do. We're an idea generation platform looking for trading opportunities, continually scanning the market and offering you ideas that are statistically proven in the marketplace.
Is Mark Cuban in this? Well, who are we pitching?
There was someone that wanted to know what we do.
We help you make money.
That's right. We help you make money.
The real way, not the Ferrari in the backseat of a Lamborghini sort of way. It's new.
But we do it, you know, this is like, we've been doing this for 13 years. So, you know, this isn't just AI. This isn't just alerts. This isn't just topless. It's a platform. It's a platform that is sitting here as your trading assistant. It's helping you find these ideas in real time, as it's happening, and that's really the key.
Do me a favor to really ring home. I mean, I've always found this incredibly useful. People often still think that, their eyes are pretty good. Listen, Brad, I'm a tape reader. I buy a lot of Scotch tape. I put words on it. I read it. I have it all over the house, taped up everything. I'm a tape reader, Brad. I don't need this. Why don't we show our customers, I'm making fun of 99% of the way people think a lot of times. What happens to ideas that they think are good? Like, Brad, what happens if you've been shorting, let's say, a 5-day low on 2 times normal volume and held it to the end of the day? Because the market's been terrible.
Let me create an alert window here, and I'm just going to start from scratch. We're looking for a 5-day low, right? That's what you said.
And by the way, what Brad is doing here is another example why you get this with the AI, the odds maker, which allows you to test hypothesis before, but to do it the right way, not the TradeStation way. This is called event-based testing. So Brad will explain it before I lose my voice completely.
All right.
So with the demo.
So we're looking here for a 5-day low. We're going to short this 5-day low. It's going to be doing heavy volume, so we'll say on 2 times volume. And let's just put in some price constraint. Let's say between $1 and $100. So we'll keep it pretty open right there. And then let me add another filter. I'm going to come up to search, and I'm going to just see the average daily volume. So I'm just going to add one of our average daily volume filters. And on this guy, we're just going to say 500,000 shares. So simple strategy. I'll hide unused so you can see exactly what we've got. 1 to 100, 2 times normal volume at that time of day, 500,000 shares on average traded.
By the way, if this turns out to be good, we'll give it to everybody who's in the room.
Well, it could be because a 5-day low, the market hasn't been so good. So it might be, but let's take a look. And this is how you start, right? You start with an idea. That's how everything starts with an idea, concept.
Right here.
All right, so we're going to back test the strategy, and here we have to make some assumptions, and of course we can change them, but let's just take a core time during the day. Skip the first half hour, skip the last hour, and how long are we going to hold this for? Let's hold it all day. What's that?
Like you said, let's hold it all day.
Yeah, we'll hold it all day. We'll get out 15 minutes before the close.
Yep.
And risk management, I could put a stop loss, but let's not. Let's just see how it kind of works its way out here without putting any of these parameters. Again, this is the beauty of you can always run it again, put new values in here, see how it works.
I think, Brad, you're also pointing an interesting point here. And when you create a strategy, you start with the high-level concept. You only to refine and make your high-level concept functional. You can't start with the stop and then, back into the strategy.
Exactly. So I'm going to just, for the purposes of time and speed, we'll do the last 30 trading days. We're going to simulate a sell here. This is going to be a short. Let's see how it does.
What everyone should start noticing, first of all, is how many trades, which is at the bottom, the software is crunching all while you're sitting there at a webinar. If you had to do something similar in TradeStation, you would have already had to have written over 1,000 scripts.
Yeah, because the beauty is that this strategy right here that we put together, it doesn't know symbols. It doesn't know what's going to be running through it, and it doesn't care. It's completely objective.
Brad, we might need to add this to the basis.
The old 5-day low short. So you're going to get chewed up with the amount of transactions because it's a good start. You need to add some filters. You don't want a strategy that's giving you 2,000 trades. But if I'm looking at this and analyzing it, I like what I see. I see a profit factor of 1.75. That's the sum total of all the winning trades over the sum total of losing trades. So that's a ratio value of 1.75. That's pretty good. I like my strategies to be in the 60% area, but with this number of trades, that's a great start.
But this is how we build bases, Brad, right?
Well, it's exactly. And the real power is if I go to this optimization tab, I'll show you, like from the prices here, we can break up prices into all these different segments. These are $10 segments, and you can see what's the profit factor for each segment, what's the win percentage, the average dollars that I won, the total dollars that I won, and the number of trades that make up each segment. So, you know, this $10 segment, there were 522 trades. If I break it into, say, $5 intervals, you can see what makes up that first $5. But this isn't really the interesting part. It kind of shows you how we use this data. But what really becomes interesting, and it's not so much even the time, although this is telling me we're much more successful earlier in the day than later in the day, it's really being able to look at the different filters that we have and how these filters can possibly affect this strategy. And just looking at the 1 minute RSI, and I don't know that I want to do anything at this point, but I'm just breaking it down into values. When I have a really low 1 minute RSI, there are only 8 trades, but I only won 25% of the time. This is all information that I'm going to use to create a strategy, but moreover, this is information that Holly uses when she's optimizing the strategies. So it kind of gives you a little bit of insight into what she's doing.
Well, you guys are also kind of going on a time machine, because basically what we used to do by hand, we completely turned over to the technology, and this is how visually, like usually you never see how AI works, but this is what Holly does. So
there's a good question here by Rick, and he's asking us if there are strategies and trade ideas for swing trading and not just day trading. And the way that we've approached this, Rick, is we don't really label this as day trading per se. If this trade looks good at the end of the day and you're profitable in it, and that daily chart supports it along with the broader market, then by all means those trades should turn into a swing trade. But at its onset, to say I'm getting into a swing and have the market crap out, and you know, those aren't the types of opportunities we want to present, because we want to have risk really managed well for you. So in that regard, if these trades look great at the end of the day, you happen to have a good price and everything else looks good along with it, then by all means you may want to swing that. But at this stage, we don't have them segmented in that regard.
yeah, Brad, let's touch up on Michael Davidson's questions, because I mean, he's actually asking some good questions about how the whole process works.
Can you start without an idea and pare down from the filters?
Yeah, I think we got that. I think he's trying to understand, how does Holly pick which filters work or which ones don't, and does the number of filters change or stay the same?
It's such a, okay, it's a very complex question. And it utilizes exactly what I'm showing you right here. Holly is behind the scenes going through this odds maker on every strategy and every filter that we have. So in this drop down right here, every filter that exists inside of Trade Ideas, again, the basic data points like price and volume, but also the ones that we create, the special data points that are just unique to Trade Ideas. Every one of these filters is looked at inside of the strategy, and it uses an artificial intelligence to decide which filters it should employ and which filters it shouldn't. And once it decides to employ a particular filter, it decides what value it should use for a minimum or a maximum value. So it's doing what I'm doing here manually, going through each of these filters, saying, is this something that would affect the outcome? But by no means is it curve fitting, because like I said, it's using an out-of-sample set of data, and it's never going through and knocking off a filter for just one trade. That's not the way that it works. It really it takes a look at our base strategy that we created, and it'll add maybe up to 6 different filters, but not much more than that. And it really just does a refining technique on the strategy based on the previous data.
Brad, let's do me a favor. I think we've done, I mean, it's almost time, and I think we've done a ton. One thing I want to show, if we can go back to the AI strategies window real quick. So bring up the historical win rate and today's win rate, and let's discuss so that people can see what happens in real life versus trading life. And here's the thing. Everybody needs to understand the future is unknown. You can just mathematically try to do the best guess possible. So even with the best kind of mathematics, you can still have a strategy that sampled 65% but didn't work out at all, or only did 33, as you can see what happens in real life.
Yeah, I mean, and similarly, you know, these guys here that had a 60 and 62%, you know, they came in at 100, but, you know, there are no guarantees on either side of that. So I want to address. I have a comment here from one of our users, Debbie, and she didn't like my answer to swing trading, and I can appreciate that because some people don't want to be staring at the markets all day. But I just want to utilize today's market, for instance. And if I was putting you in some swing trades today, telling you that this is something that you need to hold for 3 days because it's been statistically tested, I mean, look at the market. Well, by all means, the market could bounce tomorrow and things could be good, but this is not the kind of position I want to put you guys in. So that's why I'm reluctant to tell you this is a 3-day trade and it back tested well, because the market is, well, it's new every day. And
well, Brad, I want to add to that. I mean, again, all of these terms, swing trading and day trading, they're meaningless, and they were invented by people just to make themselves feel comfortable. We as humans, we love to label stuff, but none of those things really have any validity or value in terms of what you really need from trading. Trading is a risk-on, risk-off environment. When you swing trade, you risk on because you're saying, well, I don't know what's going to happen overnight, but I'm okay with that. And that's strictly a function of your account size and your risk tolerance. You should not pigeonhole yourself into, well, I am a swing trader or I am a day trader. For the benefit of your own account, you should just be an engaged investor. When you're an engaged investor, you allow yourselves to maximize alpha by not staying in things because, quote unquote, of a word called swing, which is a meaningless word. Not saying that your approach is meaningless, because I hold positions all the time. But that's because that fits into my risk profile. That's it. You know, nobody has to be defined by one thing or another. You should be as flexible as possible to get the most out of the market.
all right, thank you, Dan. You need to go back to bed.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help. I think we're kind of wrapping it up here. I think all the questions seem to have been answered. If you have any other questions, please shoot us an email. I'm going to bring Scott back and talk a little bit about some of the special that we're offering today.
Yeah, actually, slide that back one slide earlier to start with. You're a little ahead of us there.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. So it's something we always do to thank everyone for showing up is to offer a discount. Those of you who do not currently subscribe to Trade Ideas can use this code QAWEB13. It's case sensitive, so all capitals, QAWEB13. That takes half off your first month, 20% off your first year, or 30% off the lifetime AI odds maker license, which gets you the Holly AI. Use that code before the end of business on Friday, and you can get the first month for $49, the first year $710, odds maker AI for just $770 lifetime. In fact, I made it super easy for you. Look in the handouts panel of your GoToWebinar interface, and you'll find that there's a PDF there to download. It's going to have this page and the next page and our contact page. And now we can go to the next slide there, Brad. And this is the real exciting package. This is what we really are excited to be able to present, at least until we release Holly the AI in a production version. Currently, version 4 is beta, so we're still doing this. You get a full year of Trade Ideas and the Holly AI for $12.88. That saves you $700 right away. Best way to do it is to download that PDF and click on the link, or type the link you see directly into your browser just the way you see it, bit.ly/SAVE700. And what that will do is take you to the landing page where you can just click through to buy it. And again, you'll find that link in your downloadable PDF. Go ahead and do that. We're also going to send out a recording of this to you. It should be available tomorrow. You'll get an email with a link to the section of our YouTube channel where you can do that download and see this whole production again. contact us at info@trade-ideas.com with any questions. You can contact Dan directly, dan@tradeIdeas.com, or brad@tradeIdeas.com for Brad. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/tradeideiaspro. Dan's available on Twitter at TradeIdeas1, or follow our other Twitter feed that's got a lot of great trade ideas. It's just Trade Ideas. Give us a call during normal business hours on the West Coast, and we should be able to help you out as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and this is the last webinar of the week. So there's no Trade of the Week webinar tonight, and Jamie is off tomorrow. We've got a meeting. And then next week, the schedule resumes as normal. We've got office hours on Monday. We've got QA webinar on Wednesday, and also the Trade of the Week is next week. And also Jamie's trading room on Thursday. So keep an eye out in your emails. If you received an invite for this, you'll receive an invite for those. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, everybody. Bye.